Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the family. And with that, speaking about family, hope to the family and friends of Shad Gaspard. We all hope that Shad finds his way back home after caught missing after a tide in some shit in Venice Beach, where caught up with his son, saved his son. Sadly, after the tide washed him off, and now they even cut off the search. We don't know where in the hell he is, and I'm just a bit worried because, Crime Time was one of my favorite tag teams that never won the belts. So hopefully the guy is actually doing pretty well. But now to the review. I just want to cut that off because I have mad respect for Shad. And now we get into Raw is mediocre. And it all starts with the longest winded. They take it like Becky Lynch is in a leave of absence via injury, concussion, getting shot, or at least Roman Reigns' case because he literally suffered goddamn leukemia that cut him out of action for a majority of the year. And then he was out of in commission like till WrestleMania of last year. Becky Lynch is just getting a kid. That thing made like several minutes of airtime just to show that Becky Lynch is pregnant. Now, I get what Becky Lynch sort of did for the women's division, even though that's been built up by more women before her. But why are they taking her like she's that much of a top face? Cena proposed to Nikki Bella in the most heartwarming segment at WrestleMania history, and they never pushed that down our throats because Cena was a part-timer at the time. And it's just weird. Why Becky Lynch? Seth Rollins didn't even have much of a mention that congratulations on having a kid. Not even Buddy Murphy referenced it. Or anybody else at that matter backstage. And then, nothing else happened. For the rest of the show. Yes, I know. It seems like a managerial position for MVP has re-emerged on Bobby Lashley to the stuff they did back on TNA, if you guys actually pay attention. And, Lana came around screaming like a complete lunatic. Even though she should be celebrating after Lashley got a victory. Seth Rollins explained his revelation after literally gouging Rey Mysterio's eye in the edge of a metal step, and trying to publicly talk to Rey Mysterio. Then we had Humberto Carrillo. That took until like 6 months of him in the company finally speaking a full sentence in English, like his charm is trying to get the Hispanic demographic so hard. And now he speaks English because Rey Mysterio is his idol. He ends up losing to Buddy. I mean, I have to call him Murphy now. Because WWE, after returning back Apollo Crews' name and everybody else's name, now somehow Buddy Murphy is not good enough for Vince's name. I wonder what's good enough. Getting a fucking dangerous worker like Nia Jax still on contract, or getting rid of your potential main eventer. I don't know what really works in WWE's mindset of releasing people longevity to, liability, and it just sucks. It was a basic match that didn't end off Murphy's Law. Aleister Black came to stop the post-match assault later on in the night. It was just basic elbow, and they try to make it look hard-hitting, because literally nobody else you can hear, especially the crowd, except the comment Samoa Joe's hard breathing anytime he moves his fingers. Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott over Charlotte Flair, referencing that she has an Interbrand match invitational the next night on a few nights on SmackDown. No one cared. Ruby Riott was obviously going to get jobbed out after jobbing out to Literally everybody. She had never pinned anybody clean. She got snuffed in the Elimination Chamber match. I'm shocked that they still keep her around contract, even though it looks like they got nothing for her to do. Same thing with Natalya. I bet they're gonna give her a crappy heel turn afterwards. She's gonna fail to some babyface. She's gonna go back to playing babyface again, like in a few months, and we're gonna forget about it. Like, you have nothing else to do with these women other than the stupid 4 horsewomen or any other jobber you got from NXT. Why not just release them? Trim the fat. Natalya's gone, but former recent Raw Tag Team Champions out of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins get released. They'd also have a 10-year in the company. And obviously try to pull WWE's popularity with their stupid toy channel on YouTube. And of course, whatever they do on the WWE Network. And I wanted to see Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Now, majority of our favorite acts, like Jericho, Cena, I guess Fandango, majority of the guys that played some funny roles on Southpaw Regional Wrestling are not released. Even one of my favorite parts of Gallows and Anderson, now they're released. So that's sad to hear. Yeah, the biggest thing in the match was literally some kind of impromptu Hurricane Rana. Whatever riot finisher you can make with a pun involving riots, and it ends with, of course, the figure eight. With, of course, Charlotte looking like a WNBA player, snuffing the hell out of like a 5'0" Ruby Riot. The match was forgettable. At the most, at the most, I hate the idea that Charlotte's holding onto a developmental championship belt. It kind of devalues her, and it kind of devalues the way NXT runs things, trying to push the next gen of WWE competitors. It's completely pointless, it's dumb, and it devalues everything WWE's trying to build up at this point. Other than trying to actually think that all because the person from the main roster is holding a developmental belt means more people are going to watch the show. It's like if Stone Cold Steve Austin held on to a hardcore title, even though he has some match with Kane on Hell in a Cell the next night on Raw or something. Like, no one's gonna goddamn watch that if Stone Cold Steve Austin faced off against a guy named Brock Cannon from New Jersey that put thumbtacks on his nape and then takes super kicks every fucking night. I'm just saying, it's dumb. It doesn't bring up any prestige except, oh god, do they hold that belt? Next up, Nia Jax returned after a celebration of Asuka. Kairi Sane actually spoke English. Kairi Sane spoke English. Congratulating Asuka, her friend, celebrating all the, all the accomplishments, being a Triple Crown Women's Champion, now winning the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, and the NXT Women's Championship. And also, technically a Grand Slam because they are also former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Even though I think that the belts are already irrelevant at itself because WWE doesn't build up that much diversity on the women's division. Other than we have a fat model, we have a generational star that doesn't have that much appeal, a generational star that we pushed to too much of this high a chord because Ric Flair will rape us and our daughters, and these women because they look weird, but they're good wrestlers. Other than that, I don't care. All it was to probably just push Nia Jax up to the main event, calling her a paper champion because she won it out of different circumstances that didn't actually involve her pinning Becky Lynch. Basic thing, it ends up with Kairi Sane and Asuka ganging up on Nia Jax after what happened weeks ago because of the buckle mistake. And the buckle mistake doesn't rewrite most of the other injuries Nia Jax's been doing for the last few years since being on the main roster. And then some. And people think, oh, it's only a couple mistakes. You know she got run over by... Don't make me sympathize with a bitch that obviously doesn't care about anybody else. I don't give a shit. Nothing else about Nia Jax should push her to the top spot except she's big and fat. That's why Vince wants her, because she's big. I'd rather Nyla Rose come to Raw than Nia Jax, because at least Nyla Rose can make shit look like it hurts without literally hurting a chick. You know how weak Riho looks on AEW, and yet she comes around powerbombing that bitch? She made Riho look like $1 million on her title defense back on Dynamite months ago. Nia Jax doesn't do that crap. She sells and just treats bitches like ragdolls. Accidentally tried to snap Charlotte and Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss's neck. Yet Vince like, we'll just give you another title shot then. But you gotta stop with these mistakes. Oh, and she nearly tried to like take like a career out of Kairi Sane. That's already teasing to get back to Shimmer. Nobody is willing to work with this bitch. Except Asuka has a track record of beating the shit out of Nia Jax for the NXT Women's title for the longest time, beating her twice. And that was when both of them were still on the main roster. And she still beat her on an NXT Homecoming event. No one cares about Nia Jax. She was only relevant because she does the babyface for sympathy's sake because Alexa Bliss was still heel at the time with Mickie James. And now Mickie James is supposed to be back in action, I don't know, a month from now. I don't care about Nia Jax. Later on in the night, there was a backstage segment involving Kairi Sane still talking with Asuka that's still holding the flowers over all of this until Nia Jax came creeping around the back, seeing Asuka and Kairi still walk away until Kairi got a hit on some kind of barricade. Oh god, she's legit hurt. No, I'm not playing around. Like, she's legit hurt now. She's legit. I'm messing with everybody at this point. But still, damn. Basic segments, even though Asuka came still around speaking Japanese over Kairi's huge speech celebrating her friend's major accomplishment being a Triple Crown champion. More important stuff, Bobby Lashley against R-Truth. With R-Truth with a pretty Ricky persona. Coming around, getting jobbed out off Bobby Lashley, taking a full Nelson submission hold. That's totally not the master lock. Trying to sell off a dual threat with MVP celebrating on the sidelines. A couple forearms. Of course, R-Truth isn't supposed to be taken seriously. And except push like Bobby Lashley, probably into a singles run. Kevin Owens was back as well, but somehow a guy who actually pinned Seth Rollins doesn't get a title opportunity, but Bobby Lashley does first, I guess. And pretty cool, except Lana awkwardly just came tossing around shit all because probably MVP was there applauding. It was a weird segment. I'm shocked Lana's not released because without Rusev, there's no particular point. I know they're still married, and probably Lana's just doing this for a business aspect to just get herself some money. I can totally understand. It's just dumb at this point that she still does this. When obviously her ship been getting stale, and instead of like her being a ravishing, hot Russian manager that knows her way around, she's just this hot chick that screams a lot, like any other basic female manager position. She's just Vicky Guerrero, but skinny and blonde, with no other character traits with her, or the heat. She doesn't get heat. She gets, oh my god, I have to see her heat. There's no negative effects that you do with Vicky Guerrero. That was literally GM of SmackDown, getting Edge to the heavyweight title status. The most annoying voice ever, and she knows how to make herself feel like a bitch. That's what makes you like Vicky Guerrero. I hate Lana. Still want to eat her ass, but that's beyond the point. Next up, we had a Why do I keep calling it SmackDown? Was the WWE Women's Tag Team titles were on the line after the Iconics returned the last week on Raw after post Money in the Bank Raw to pin Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss in a non-title match, and somehow all because you pin the tag team champions, I mean, you get an automatic title shot the next week on Raw instead of like issuing it literally on Backlash to actually build up some matches. So we had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, even though they've been a tag team for several months now, they still never thought of their own tag team name. And there's the Iconics coming in, and they're talking in the middle of the entrance. This literally foreshadows that they're going to lose. They're going to lose. And they did lose. After a DQ, after Peyton Royce literally came around attacking, I think, Alexa Bliss, even though there's supposed to be a 10-second limit to how much the illegal tag team partner can be in the ring. They ended off there because referees are dumb now. Match ended in forgettableness. It's the same match they had, except this time it was a DQ finish, and especially for a tag team match, that's not going to work. Obviously, they're going to have something. They had Peyton Royce slap Billy Kay, and it's supposed to end, I guess, a breakup, and no, they just ended up hugging each other because I guess emotions fly. It was probably the best part of the show. And you want me to say Edge and Randy Orton. They had some good promos, but I thought this was the dumbest. Because you're about to get it. You're about to get it. Don't I won't foreshadow it. So next up we had Shayna Baszler versus Natalya. And it's supposed to be a technical match. This match was as forgettable, especially for both good wrestlers from both Natalya and Shayna, that we know that you're gonna lose because Natalya lost last week. And I guess this is the Queen of Spades versus the Queen of Hearts, and you would think, oh, this would be a cool rivalry to try to at least get something out of Shayna Baszler after not getting a rematch against the women's champion. She would end up losing off the Kakina clutch off decent counters for the finger four leg lock. I mean the sharpshooter. Pardon, sorry, too many blonde females on Raw. There was also a promo of Liv Morgan. If you want to hear more, it was cool that she did a bit of an underdog promo. How she's trying to be built up on this uniqueness. She's just Emelina, just better. It ended off the Kakina clutch. Uh, it was fine. It was an okay match. It was better than the tag team match. I was just then screaming, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss doing their moves, and then it was just ending off DQ finishes. There's nothing really interesting about the Iconics other than they're just yelly, screamy, weird girls, and Natalya has a 10-year in the company, but ends up the most underachieving woman in the business. That's depressing. I would ask for my release if I'm not being taken this seriously. Other than I'm a Hart, even though you know the reputation with the Hart family in the WWE, some shock Natalya isn't like, I should leave. Probably she's doing this because she has a good relationship with the women in the business, and probably to keep herself financially secure. So I could totally get it. It's just pointless to know how booked poorly she has been for the last 5 years. They even regurgitated her feud with Charlotte, and she still ended up losing. So I was like, why are you here? And then she ends up tossing KO show stuff away. Speaking of which, Kevin Owens is back after not appearing since WrestleMania after beating Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth Rollins gets a title opportunity. He somehow suffered an injury that kept him out of action for the last couple weeks. That was explained off him in the middle of the show. Now he's back. And then he issues the biggest confrontation, Austin Fury and Andrade and Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. And bringing up all this stuff that they came out of the streets. It was a basic promo. They're just LAX without a... Oh my god. I should be ashamed of myself for even referencing LAX like that. I'm not saying that all because the majority of them, they have two gifted Hispanic wrestlers with uh with a Latino actually being a mouthpiece coming from the street. I gotta stop being old. Like I'm only 20, bro. I shouldn't do this to myself. Yeah, this was an okay promo. Zelina Vega trying to disrespect him. Why you don't want to share the ring with him? Kevin Owens said they're saving space for another guest. And then there was also a promo involving them backstage, like bringing up that they should be on their best behavior in Austin Theory. Even saying yes, ma'am, to Zelina Vega, so it's obvious that you know he's not really well liked with Andrade and Garza. So Apollo Crews that also got taken away from injury, a kayfabe injury, off a knee injury after messing around with a backflip, and he's still getting pushed in the mid card for some apparent reason, even though he hasn't been worth anything for sure. He's probably gonna win the U.S. title, and no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care. And it ended up in an impromptu tag team match because Kevin Owens' KO show is just now him fighting because he's babyface. So he foreshadowed that anything happens a crowd, when a crowd of a load of people come into the show, he beats. It ends up in a fight, and still, one black guy comes in and it starts the fight. Kevin Owens tags with Apollo Crews, an impromptu tag team match with Austin Theory and Angel Garza. Match and was basic enough, except there was no wrist tape on Kevin Owens. Backflips off Apollo Crews, a lariat. Of course, we got the torn pants off Angel Garza. There was a running forearm off miscommunication off Garza. And it ended up off Apollo Crews with a spinning powerbomb to get the victory. And probably having Andrade's number. Austin Theory got kicked out of the group out of accidentally forearming Angel Garza and a slap by Zelina Vega and tossing a chair at his ass. Yikes. The segment was okay, basic enough. I thought it was like one of these things and not like the other. And it was kind of foreshadowed anyway because of most of the F-ups Austin Theory was doing, even though earlier on, like this Zelina Vega's like the fastest rising 22-year-old star, and after all of that, they still kick him off the curb because he's not Hispanic. I'm joking. It's not a race issue. I just like bringing it up. Huh. Next up, we of course have Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. Jeez, I gotta get used to that. But Murphy against Aleister Black after confrontation, after his tag team partner Rey Mysterio got gouged from the eye from the steel steps by Seth Rollins. Buddy Murphy tried to intervene, slammed his head, so the rivalry is back, but it ends in a DQ after Austin Theory was caught by the eye of Seth Rollins, urging him to join the group and call him to get into the match because obviously Buddy Murphy is never going to beat Aleister. So it just ends up with Austin Theory hitting a TKO on Aleister Black, Seth Rollins, and Murphy beating the crap out of him. And the weirdest hug, like these are brothers meeting, other than it's like join my family. He's literally just the antagonist of Far Cry 5. That's literally it. All he needs is like these shades, some more tattoos that shows the 7 deadly sins on his body, and then that's practically it to just go in for the power that is the Monday Night Messiah. That's already a dumb name in general. It's just a borderline. It's just a OC 2.0, except more underachieving talent. Except Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is the Monday Night Messiah that has a weak pullout game. And I thought that would be his revelation that he would put earlier in the night. Next up would be a competition of axe throwing. That's technically it. You want me to go more deeper in that? Just cops came after. Literally axes got chucked everywhere by these Negroes, and literally just ended up with I guess taking the fall. Still the Street Profits, but nobody got in jail because some fat cop thought Ibar was attractive and then called Eric unattractive. Completely didn't need to be said because Eric didn't say anything. And then we just faded to black after that because Street Profits won the basketball competition because they're black. I mean, because they're from the streets, and of course, Ivar and Eric won the axe tossing competition because they're Vikings. It was a corny, dumb segment that's supposed to, I guess, stream a rivalry worth entertaining, but no one really cares about the Street Profits. And the constant name changes and an awkward Viking gimmick for the War Raiders. Obviously, Vince doesn't think two big hoss bearded dudes kicking the shit out of dudes isn't cool enough. And just Montez Ford's unnecessary screams of just doing this thinks he's charismatic. It's just me. I think that these guys are incredibly gifted, but other than that, I think they try to force feed them to think that they have character rather than showing how they really are. And it really shows almost in these backstage vignettes, even though they're probably going to defend their tag titles at Backlash. Next up, we have our Interbrand Invitational involving Baron Corbin, King Corbin against Drew McIntyre in the matter. Why Corbin? Why? Because I guess I have a history of when Corbin was GM or something. I guess to cause some sort of conflict, and it ends up with, of course, Corbin losing. Corbin is never going to be taken seriously as King of the Ring, and he had a chance at Money in the Bank, but they made, I guess, Otis win it because he's over. And it's like if Scotty 2 Hotty won the Money in the Bank briefcase at that case. I don't know why, but of course Corbin was gonna lose. It went into that running outside into a clothesline thing, and then he missed and got a Claymore kick. Future Shock DDT got canceled. A deep six for an obvious near fall. The match was like 6 minutes long for a main event per se. For a match that meant absolutely nothing except unnecessary bragging rights or some forgettable storylines that's gonna last under a month. And they only limit this to 4 times in the calendar year. Do I think this could stay? I think only interbrand stuff should only happen in like anniversary or special events, like if they ever do a redraft or they ever do an anniversary event that they should have done for like SmackDown 1000 of last year and SmackDown. That was not planned. And SmackDown and Raw 25 for the in the year before that. Still though, what the hell? This Raw was mediocre. So no build up to the future except Bobby Lashley and Nia Jax are probably going to get championship campaigns. Probably the Iconics are going to get some kind of dumb relationship drama involving the tag team titles. And Austin Theory is now part of the Monday Night Messiah. And I don't care. No particular thing into that. Thanks Seth Rollins doesn't seem to be part of the title picture anymore. And now Apollo Crews is going to be pushed for a U.S. title opportunity. I don't care. Nothing about this really excited me. There was also a segment involving Randy Orton calling out Edge for just a wrestling match. After having matches that looked like end all or be all, they literally had a last man standing match. And sure, it was long and boring, but that's literally any other type of conclusion for a feud. And yet, it'd be like if I'm asking career mode of of the 2K series on WWE. I just had a 3 stages of hell match with you, a last man standing, and a fucking Inferno match, a TLC match, and now you just want a submission match. Yes. Okay, it's worth 500 to BC. It's just pointless. It's dumb and it undervalues these guys other than they're just doing this so they can sell off the pay-per-view because they know just Lashley and McIntyre won't sell thanks Lashley hasn't been valued that much of a main event star since like 2018 and they completely botched that up when they had him feud with Sami Zayn. Literally the only selling point is technically just Edge and Orton. Rollins just having this dumb feud, and now Becky Lynch is pregnant, and they still haven't made McIntyre that much of a legit world champion to make Raw that much of an exciting thing to watch. I would give this. I'm gonna try to give this a straight 5 for at least captivating most of my attention. It's nice to see MVP have more of a managerial role other than jobbing on Raw. No matches were that exciting. I thought the promo with Randy and Edge was a bit awkward, dumb, and made no sense with these awkward cutoffs, and it felt so dumb and dead that they could have just done this backstage to make it less awkward whenever they just hit the ring and just do the promo when there's no fans to actually feel like there's connection. I want to give this a 4 so bad, but I just want to give it a 5. The show still sucked. It's just the ratings mean absolutely nothing, except for my borderline actual interest in the show. That's literally the point of it. Other than that, in my cold-hearted mind, I'm going to give this a 4, because I felt like no match actually captivated my attention. No matches felt like they were important. And the show just didn't captivate anything to wait for the pay-per-view. So that's technically it. That's this DST show. Hope Shad is okay, alive, and can go back to his family. And Becky Lynch, stop with your dumbass vignettes on Raw. You're pregnant. You're not dying. So that's practically it.